Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We talk everything animation here, including Star vs. the Force of Evil, which we'll be getting into right now. I'm Andy Potter, and today I'm joined by Queen Moon herself, April Collins.
Hi!
So today we're going to be talking about the episodes that just aired at midnight. Is that right? Midnight? Skooled and Booth Buddies. These are enormous episodes. We're going to be getting into them, and we have a lot to say. I'm sure April is very excited. I'm very excited, and before we get into that, you can find everything about this podcast at overlyanimated.com. You can subscribe to us on iTunes at overlyanimated.com/iTunes, where we really appreciate your star ratings, and or you can search for us on your favorite podcatcher. So with that said, April, I'm gonna drop every pretense here, okay?
Spoilers, everyone.
Spoilers right now. We're not gonna sugarcoat it. We're going straight into the spoilers. So if you haven't watched the episodes, stop listening right now. That kiss, April, what did you think of the kiss?
Okay, look, I finished watching these episodes maybe like an hour or so ago, and I'm still shook. Like, I'm 100% shook, and I'm freaking out, and I hate watching shows live for this reason, because, we're not going to get to see the results of this, probably not until the finale. And the only reason why I say that is because the way that the episode ended was on we have to go help Pony, which means that we're going to put this off. So, knowing this show, let's see. Star revealed her feelings to Marco at the end of season 2. We're at the end of season 3. So does that mean at the end of season 4 we'll finally get Starco like canon, or what is happening here?
But at the very least, we didn't have this kiss happen at the end of season 4, because then we'd have a whole season break before we got into it. Because they could have easily done that. This could have been
Yeah, it could have been so much worse. So yes, I'm super excited for finally something.
Honestly, I couldn't believe it was happening while it was happening. It was just on screen, and it's I don't know. It's like my eyes glazed over, and I was just like, is this a dream? Am I asleep right now?
This isn't real.
No. I had that thing where Star was going I just blacked out for a couple seconds. What'd you say? And I was just that's what just happened to me. What just happened? Did I black out? Is this real? Is this real life right now? We could just gush about this for a little bit. Let's get to the build-up, because I think that's actually really good in this episode. This episode is just so great. There's so much Starco drama here, and then we end with this amazing kiss. And listeners, we're Starco shippers, both of us. We're going to be talking about Starco this whole time.
Yeah.
So if you don't like that, sorry, we're Starco shippers.
Yeah, sorry guys, but it's appropriate that both of us is on here. I'm so sad Dylan's not here, because he's probably freaking out too.
I know he's freaking out, but also he said he might, and we'll talk about it later, but he wants to talk about this a lot, and he's gonna find a way to do it, I'm sure.
Of course.
Yeah, so this episode, we'll come back to the less important. Actually, the other episode's more plot important, but I don't really care about it right now, Skooled, but we're gonna talk about Booth Buddies first, and it starts with Ruberiot and Fooldu? What's her name? Fooldu? Okay.
Yeah. So their wedding, which is super sweet. Also, when did that happen? Because someone told me, what was it? Someone had predicted, I don't remember who. They were like, oh, it's going to be Foolduke and Ruberiot's wedding. And I was like, what? They're not even a thing. That's not real.
It was Steve.
Yes. Steve was the one who predicted that.
I don't know how Steve predicted it. I really don't.
I couldn't. I never saw it. I just told you I didn't think it was real, but it was real, and their vows were amazing. I didn't write them all down, but they were just through corn famine, and I was like,
oh, no.
What?
The rest they were fighting monsters and stuff through monster attacks and stuff. Then corn famine, I was just like, yeah, of course corn famine's a thing. It's not just famine.
Corn famine. Yeah, right? Corn famine specifically.
Yeah, they can't live without corn.
I wonder if those are standard vows for weddings in uni.
I feel like mentioning corn is a given.
Yeah, that was the impression that I got. But those were so well, like, I also liked that there was, like, the traditional vows, and then they threw in, like, that other stuff, and it just worked seamlessly.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I know that's a really weird thing to, like, focus on, but, like, I'm getting married in a couple of weeks, so I'm like, what? This is amazing. So,
That's great.
Yeah.
But it also, Fuluk, like, tipped over, Riberion instead of the other way around, which was really cute.
Yes, I thought that was adorable. I loved that the small tiny moments. Like,
Yeah. And then Star yells Mazel Tov. Of course
Yeah.
of course that's one of the things she learned. Like, she just learned all these random things from Earth, and one of them was just Mazel Tov. Of course
and
that's...
she just brings them back with her.
Yeah. I'm sure no one else in the crowd knows what Star is saying, but they're like, sure, it's Star.
The only thing that would have, like, sold that moment more is if, like Marco had, like, rolled his eyes or something like that. It was just like, Star, no. Like,
yeah. Or like Star, like, misunderstood the stomping on a glass thing and had it somehow incorporated that into her saying Mazel Tov, like she threw, like, glasses at them.
Oh no, that would have been like a really Star moment.
But I think we didn't have time for that. There's too much going on here.
There was too much other time. Yeah.
There's too much going on. We don't have time to stop on this. We need to push forward to the main part of this episode.
So, okay, like, let's, moving forward. So, Ponyhead never showed up to the wedding, which they talked about.
Yeah.
And then
Tom just, like, noped right out of this thing as soon as Star mentioned the booth.
Star was like, because what is it? Tom mentions that it's Ponyhead's photo booth.
Yeah. And
so did she rent it out for this wedding? Like,
yeah, is it Ponyhead's name that's written on the inside? I think that's, yeah. And Star just, like, freaks out, and Tom's like, I'm gonna go get pie, and, then he's gone, which is great.
Well, also, shame on Tom for not wanting to spend some precious time with his girlfriend in the photo booth. Like, we made such progress last week, Tom, and like, here we are.
I think this is a relationship breaker. If you're not gonna go into a photo booth with your partner, like, what are you even doing? Like, that's, like, a golden opportunity.
Yes. And also, Kelly was with Marco and Tom and Star.
Yes.
Don't know if Kelly was necessarily Marco's date. They never mentioned.
No, I don't know. I thought they were holding hands at first, then I realized they never showed it.
Yeah. I tried to catch it, too. I was just like, give me something. Like, tell me what your relationship is.
I'm kind of glad there isn't, because then we have, like, a weird quadrangle going on, and I don't need that. I don't need a quadrangle.
Look, it might be worth it, depending on.
It might be worth it. But before we get into, like, the big stuff, Kelly does take the keys to Nacho.
And her eyes do the little stars thing, and she's like, okay.
Oh my god, Kelly is just low-key great every episode, and Alex will have offense with me saying low-key, I'm sure, but she is the best. She's great. But then,
I think that's because I'm a huge Kelly fan, and I'm glad we got to see her. And she looked adorable in her cute little yellow dress, and of course that's what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah. Speaking of, before we get further, Star's dress was really cute. It's like a Flintstones dress. She had like instead of a bow tie,
bones and everything.
Yeah,
it was also a long dress, which is kind of weird for her. So
and it had like one of those long neck dinosaurs on the hem.
Mm-hmm.
It was really cute. I thought it was just like a smiley face at first, and then it zoomed out, and there was like a whole dinosaur. I'm like, oh my god, that's adorable.
Wearing a smiley face.
Yeah. I mean,
not a star.
Yeah, I would just be like, oh, it's a smiley face, sure. But now from this point forward, it's just Starco. Like, that's not an exaggeration. The rest of the episode is Starco.
Were you also like extremely mad at Marco because he just seemed so unamused, with Star at the beginning? He's like, we can take photos later.
I was upset with him, but I also knew the episode I knew the episode took place completely in the photo booth, so I knew that this was leading to something, so I wasn't that mad at him. If I didn't know the episode was staying in the photo booth, I think I would have been more upset with him. Like, you're in a photo booth, Marco. Talk to her. You're alone with her. Come on.
Right? You've been putting this off for an entire season. Come on now.
Come on. So, this also leads to another gag. I think this is the first time this is only the second time anyone's acknowledged the money in terms of
That moment was great. She's just like, give me money. And he's like, what? No. And she's like, I know you've got money. And she just starts rummaging in his suit jacket until she finds it. What does he say? He's like, I'm not made of money. And she's like, yes, you are.
Yeah. And it's like, when she takes the money, she doesn't just say, I got your money. She's like, I have your $650. It's like, she knows. You can't hide this, Marco. You already explained where the money came from. Like, something about this gag, it just gets me every single time. I don't know why this gag is so funny. It's just,
it's even better because, like, it's an acknowledgement. Like, Star's finally like, I know you have $650. Hand it over.
It's completely flipped from, like, the beginning. It was like, why does Marco always have $650? And then it's like, okay, Marco has $650. He's using it to do stuff. And then it's flipped back to a joke where everyone just like, give us your $650, Marco. We know you have it. And it's just this.
We understand.
yeah. Like the gag, I hope it continues to evolve because it's just so good. It's so good. And then,
if we can keep it going, even though, like, you know, everything that took place in Skooled took place. But
it should keep going because it's just one of the best. It's one of the funniest things in the show. And then we finally get to the photos where Star keeps calling them travesties, like you were saying, and it's just.
What is it? She asked for best friend photos, not business acquaintances.
Yeah. And then Marco tries to, like, pretend to be happy and stuff, and Star just is not having it. She knows it's fake. She knows that he doesn't want to be there. And then we get the biggest Starco shipper of them all, Alex Hirsch, appears as a goblin and kidnaps them. And
also, super creepy.
Yeah.
I just gotta say, like, extremely creepy.
Like, what did you think of him, like, in general? Because, besides just being creepy, because I just saw him and I'm just like, why? All the things in Beauty just make me go, why? I think is what I'm trying to say. Why are you hiding?
I wonder if Alex got to design his own character. They were like, you're going to be a goblin. And he's like, cool, I've got this. And then just drew it out or something. That would make it like a little bit better. He delivered like creepy goblin guy, and I sold it. And he comes out of the gemstone thing and the music. Also, the music in both of these episodes was phenomenal.
Yes.
Like, it was great. Yes.
Especially during the conversation we're going to get to later. Like, the music is just crazy good. I really loved it. And, but back to Alex Hirsch really quick. There was an interview from 2015 where someone asked him about Starco, and I think it was said that was probably around the time he recorded for this, and he literally just said, "What's that? I have no idea what you're talking about."
What? Alex Hirsch, you monster.
And so he was either hiding it or he legitimately did not know what he recorded, and I don't believe the second one.
Yeah, I don't know. Given his lines, I could see that he didn't know what he recorded.
I guess.
Like, because he never says, like, Star or Marco.
He doesn't.
Or, and his lines are super, like, basic. Like, he's like, well, I gotta get these brain juices going. I'm gonna have me a cold one. Like, you could easily, like, read those lines and not know what you're talking about.
It's also possible he knows Marco and Star, and he knows that they're a ship, but he doesn't know the name, I guess. He might not know the shipping name.
That's fair. Back in 2015, I don't remember when Starco came to life.
Oh, wow, that's 3. I thought that was 2 years ago. Time needs to stop.
Time needs to stop. It does in photo booths.
Yeah. And then, also, one of the weirdest moments of the episode, right after Alex Hirsch appears, Marco lifts up the seat to the photo booth and there's a monster in it.
And there's a monster under the seat.
And I was just, that was probably one of the weirdest moments of this show ever. Like, why is there a monster in the booth? And no one's going to acknowledge it.
So, do you think Ponyhead knows that it's in there? And did she put the monster in there herself? Yes or no?
See, I wasn't thinking that, but now that you mention it, probably yes, that she put it in there. She put it in there. She doesn't want anyone else using her photo booth. That's how she gets to rent it out each time, because there's a monster in there and no one knows how to deal with it except her. And
if you use it without her permission, then the monster attacks you?
Yeah,
Perfect.
obviously. Obviously, we have the headcanon. We did it. We got there.
Perfect. We made it a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing now. So this is Ponyhead's pet, and we're gonna see it like once a season now, for sure.
For sure.
For
Agreed.
sure. So we get to the Alex Hirsch Goblin's like place, and he gets a cold one, like you say, which is kind of I think that's kind of a subtle gag that I like. I like that a little bit, a cold one.
I liked it too.
It was kind of a visual gag too. I was just like, oh, we all know what he's drinking, but it says soda on it. But I don't believe you.
Don't believe you.
And then, but we get to this point where he explains that the booth is magic, and it's probably one of the funnier moments of the episode.
That's great, because that's my favorite reaction out of Star, because she's like, is it magic? And he's like, it's magic. And she freaks out. Like, Star, you know what magic is. And you get out of here.
And Marco just sighs, and he's like, I hate magic. And she, like, slaps him like he insulted somebody. And it's like, that was the most couple moment of the episode, honestly, where she's just like, Marco, no. It's very much
the
something
Starco begins.
Yeah, from this point forward, it's just all Starco. It's incredible. And then, almost immediately upon doing that, he explains that the booth is magic. It's trying to, like, read their emotions. It can tell that one of them's not being truthful. And so we get this really incredible discussion after they can't get the right picture. And it starts with, this was before Star, the pictures were good, is what I'm saying. The booth let them out back when they were friends, before Star said that she had a crush on Marco. And we get this incredible scene, and I'm not going to try to quote it all. Maybe you wrote it down, April, because that's what you do.
I do. I wrote down, like, key things, like, he was like, this was before, and I like that Marco openly admits that
yes.
He purposely didn't talk to her about it.
Yes.
And I think that parallel is very interesting because Star never talked about her feelings for Marco.
Yeah.
So, but I think that whole, like, admission, and he's like, and then I just I just pulled a Marco or something like that.
Yeah, he said that.
And I think it's interesting too because we can kind of see that he's almost like he can't get away from Star, but he's kind of like pulling himself away from her. And like, I think before that it's very evident whenever they're taking like the million photos. And then for him to just be like, yeah, like that's what I've been doing, like I haven't been doing that, I haven't talked to you about it. I should have. And, I like that Star sort of like relieves that tension by asking, what do your guts feel like? I thought that was very cute and like very Star. And she like verbally like pronounces what her guts feel like.
Yeah, it's a very Star moment.
Mm-hmm. It was very Star. I really appreciated that. To sort of help break the tension and everything like that. And I like that they're like, okay, like, we only have $5 and we go back to like that sort of old Star in Marco where she's just like, he's like, all right, like, here we go. We're going to do this. And she's like, yeah, you got this. Like, she's cheering him on in this moment. Yeah. But the other frustrating thing is she never really said back like, hey, I still have a crush on you or anything like that. And then she even sort of prods him to be like, okay, well, is there anything else that you want to tell me? Like,
I think it's interesting because Marco is recognizing his flaws, but like you're saying, Star is not acknowledging her own in turn. But I do think that these are real flaws that Marco has. I do like that Marco admits to it, says it stinks. Star agrees, but also says, but you're still my friend. You have issues, but you're still my friend. And it's a really touching moment, I think. I think it's one of the more touching moments in this conversation where Star just acknowledges and says, yeah, but we all have problems, but we're friends here. You're my friend, and what do your guts feel like? And just lightens the mood. And I really, really liked that because it shows that they're not like blindly in love with each other. They know that they're both imperfect people that just happen to be really good friends together. And that's really touching. And and it leads into that moment where, Star's like cheering him up. And cause I don't know, it's really refreshing to watch these episodes, this kind of show where there's this really obvious couple where they're really good friends. They're not like just giving each other glances across the hall. They're like just really good friends.
It's natural.
Yes.
It's not like, like it's not forced or anything along those lines. Or it's not like, even though their relationship is tropey, it's less tropey in the sense that, like, they were friends first. They were platonic friends, like, even the show was just like, they're just friends, like, ha. But then it slowly, like, started to develop and change, and you got to, like, you were there along that ride with it, you know what I mean? Where it's not like in other shows where it's like, oh my god, Marco saved me, I'm in love with him now, or, like, like, it's not that.
It wasn't a coin flip, or it was like a turn on a dime or something. It was like a slow thing. We felt it as we were watching. Like, there were shippers from the beginning, but I mean, you could see that they were like through Blood Moon Ball, and like Star was starting to see that Marco is really a friend, but I do feel more for him, and it just slowly evolved through the seasons, and it was just really well done. I really love this. And I know we're gushing, but I also want to say that this is just amazing writing. I really love how well this is written, how well this emphasizes this kind of friendship, because I'm just kind of sick of these really shallow relationships shown on shows where it kind of gives this false impression to just to kids, that relationships are just the sudden thing that works. And it just isn't that way.
It's not that way at all. And that's the other thing. Like, their relationship is like the most real, and even though this is I know we don't like to call it that, but this is a kids show, but it's like the most real relationship I've seen on television in like such a long time. And I can't even remember the last show that I watched where there was a relationship that like felt this real, you know, where like it's one thing, I think, whenever, cause as a girl, I grew up with all of the like, get saved by Prince Charming and all of that nonsense. And I never bought into it, but at the same time, like, you can't help but feel like that pressure of like, okay, well, like the one for you is just going to fall into your lap and then it's going to instantly happen, because that's not it. Like, relationships take time and they take work, and that's what this, like, they're doing. Like, for, 14, 15-year-olds, their relationship is super, I mean, it has its immature moments, but it's also like much more mature than, relationships that I see with my friends.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm pushing 30, so like, open admission, but that's the thing though, like, even though like it's not perfect, no relationship is perfect. And so there's going to be miscommunication, like there is with any relationship. Even in my own personal relationship, like, sometimes we have a really bad time at talking about things, and that happens. So it's like this small moment inside this photo booth, and even though it's only like a few minutes long, it's just it's great. Like, I understand I'm gushing, but it is.
But I like this gushing. This isn't just like, oh yeah, Starco. This is like, we're talking about why we love it so much. It's because this is really, really good. It really, this scene shows why Starco is good. Not just like, there's a lot of shows I watch where I'm like, cause Korosami, I really liked Korosami, but at the same time, I was a little more like, I had tinted lenses on and I was just like, yes, get me together. But this is just like, I just like it so much because of how well it's written more than anything else. Not that Korosami was not well written, it's just, that was just a different type of feeling I had for it. This is just, wow, they're building it up so well. I really want them together because they're so happy together. They're so good together. They're so good for each other. And yeah, they're kids, but they're figuring it out. And I think we're going to talk about Tom in a bit, but I think we've been a little aggressively against Tom at times, and myself included, and I want to, since we're giving this Starco this kind of treatment, I want to talk about Tom a little less crazily a little bit later, because I think there is something to talk about in this episode with Tom when we get to the end. But let's move forward a little bit just so we can get through this episode in that, cause we get to the point where they put in the money, and, after this whole conversation we were discussing, and, he says there's one more thing he has to do now, and Star cheers him on, and the pictures start, and Marco turns towards Star, and we get a kiss. And it's not like, and he doesn't surprise her with, he surprises her, but she's a willing participant in the kiss, despite what the conversation later in the episode is. They kiss willingly together. He doesn't force himself on her, and he turns towards her, and she reacts accordingly. And
yeah, like that says, it's so subtle, but she like turns, like he looks towards her and she looks at him.
Yes.
And then like I guess I don't want to use grab because that's aggressive, but it's like he like motions and is like, hey.
He uses body language. Instead of just going for the kiss, he uses body language to ask, is this okay? And that's a normal part. Like, you'd rather, it's good to use body language, touch first before just going in for a kiss, and she responds positively to this action, and she turns towards him, and she embraces back. Like, I don't think this was ever aggressive from him, is what I think we're both saying.
I don't think so either. I think it's so sweet.
I disagree. Grab is kind of an aggressive word, but it is what he's doing, but it's also the correct way to proceed in this type of thing.
Yeah, that's why I was like, oh, grab's aggressive, but you know what I mean.
I'm trying to think of the word. Maybe he placed his hands on her, but that also feels kind of weird. But
he gently pulls her towards him. There we go.
Yeah. But and they kiss for the first time, and it is amazing. And it's followed. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say also my favorite part, because besides the kiss, is that they both freak out afterwards.
Yes.
Like that's the best. The freak out's the best part. Star's like, she's just like, "You're my squire," and he doesn't miss a beat and responds to her like concerns. He's like, and I take my job very seriously.
My favorite part of the conversation, which we skipped over a little bit of the Alex Hirsch Goblin, but my favorite part of the conversation is, I have a boyfriend. His name is Tom. And I'm like, is that all you have to say about Tom?
She has to remind herself, like...
Yeah. Which, like I said, we're going to talk about Tom.
I was going to say, I think that line plays in really well with the whole Tom scene at the end of the episode.
It plays really well with that.
Mm-hmm. But
before we skip over it, they freak out, like you said, and I love Star walking out of the booth with like the cloth clinging to her face.
Still on her face.
It's so good. It's so good.
And then the goblin just pushes them back in there, like, okay.
And I love it, and the goblin admits that the booth wasn't magic, and it's great. So none of this that happened here was magic induced. All of this was purely them, which is even better to find out.
Yeah, that's the best. I love it. So.
And then the Alex Hirsch Goblin flies him back, and he jumps back in the booth, and he's weird like Alex Hirsch is, but we get the conversation like you were talking about with you're my squire, I have a boyfriend, stuff like that. And they arrive back, and Elisa's can't get any more embarrassing, and then they do the classic cartoon thing where they fall on top of each other in the booth.
Yeah, that was great. Like, I half expected it, and then it happened, and I just giggled. Like,
yeah. I usually don't like these kind of scenes in shows, but I think this was the right way to do it, because it felt more like a cherry than the moment, if that makes sense. Yes. I don't like when that kind of moment happens and it tries to push forward events. This was more to halt what was going on than anything else.
Yes, I agree. It didn't, it didn't feel like forced. It was, again, a very, like, natural, like, well, this can't get any worse, and then, like, the booth shakes, they fall on top of each other, and then they, like, exchange a look, and they're like, well, no more photo booths, like, we're out of here.
We're done. That's enough photo booth for today. And, then the Starco, they split up. As in, they part ways for now, and Nachos is back. Kelly has clearly taken Nachos for a ride. Kelly is great.
Got bugs in her teeth. Girl's classy.
Yeah, I know. Kelly, like, you can tell that's just, like, Kelly's whole thing, because Marco just believes her that she did not go on a ride, even though she looks this way.
Right.
This is just how Kelly looks all the time.
This is just Kelly. Also, they're probably so distracted by what had previously taken place that they're not even noticing, like, the others around them.
Yeah.
So.
And then, okay, so I want to talk about Tom now, because this is when Tom comes back. Because Tom comes back, and
also, all of his lines were great.
Yes, yes. And, do you know I didn't write down the line for when he comes back and talks about loving the pie?
He says, I think I'm in love. with this pie.
Yeah. And that just mirrors so well what's happening in the booth with them, and it's so good. It's this funny moment that...
Like, all of his lines were sort of like that. He says something else about, like, he's like, this affair with pie is really getting out of control, and I'm like, ugh, Tom, you don't even know.
And then he asks if anyone loves the pie as much as him.
No. You are alone in that pie, because that looked like cherry pie, and I'm not for cherry pie, so...
It's probably, let's be honest, it's probably red corn pie, let's be honest.
Oh, dang it, you're right.
There's no way it's not.
Not corn pie. I wish that they would have said that it was corn pie, because that would have been great.
It would have, but keep it red, but never mention why it's red.
Yeah, just say that it's corn pie.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, this corn pie is great. And we're all like, it looks like cherry.
yeah. That'd be a good visual gag. But I want to talk about Tom here and I want to ask you a couple questions too, because I think that Tom has really had a great arc so far. I really do like, I don't feel bad for him because I don't think Stars and his relationship is real, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. It doesn't feel full. It feels like they're kind of just using each other a bit. But at the same time, I think they're both growing from the relationship, Tom more than Star. They're learning what a relationship is and what needs to be done in it, because Marco had that with Jackie. At the very least, he learned what a relationship is supposed to be, and he learned that he wasn't getting that with Jackie. And Tom and Star are kind of experiencing a similar thing. They're having a relationship, seeing what they need out of a relationship, and seeing that the other really doesn't give that to them. Because Star needs somebody who really wants to go on adventures with them, and Tom is willing to do that, but he doesn't like the adventures. He just wants to
does it when he feels obligated.
Yes.
Is sort of the sense that you get from it. And even, and I agree, he has had this season, he's had a fairly decent arc going for him. I think once him and Star break up, that's going to kind of be the end of his arc. Yeah. But I'm hoping, I have my predictions and sort of hopes for how I want his arc to sort of end. And I want it to end in a way to where he has grown enough, because I like Tom enough as a character. Yeah. I think he's fun. I'm not afraid to admit that. Ask anybody. Even though Starco is endgame, I've enjoyed, I guess, Star being happy with Tom, because she's never really expressed displeasure with her relationship with Tom. So I mean, and they have go
But
ahead.
has she ever really expressed really liking her relationship with Tom on the flip side? I don't think
No, not really. I mean, she has moments. That's the thing. They have moments. They have really nice, cute moments.
But she doesn't talk about them. She never really goes to someone and says, Tom is the best boyfriend. She talks about Marco all the time and talks about Marco being great. She talks to Marco about it. She talks to other people about it, how Marco's a great squire, or he's, maybe not just those words specifically, but she expresses liking Marco and liking what he's doing and liking the relationship. She expresses
her fondness for Marco.
And she never really does that for Tom. There's moments where she is fond of Tom, but she never really expresses it outside those moments.
Yes. So at least what I hope for in the end of the Tom, but I mean, she doesn't seem unhappy. That's the thing. And so I'm one of those people where if I like a main character enough, I just want them to be happy, no matter who it is, whether it's someone I necessarily like or not. I'm that's fine as long as they're happy. And you can ask a couple of my friends, because I rant and rave to them in real life about this show. and I've said, multiple times that, if Star is happy, then I can be happy.
Yes.
So, and even if it's a person I don't want her to be with, in the end, I just want Star to be happy. So, I don't know. I'm that type of person. I'm that way with everyone. So, real and non-real characters alike. But she's never said, oh, I'm unhappy or anything along those lines. And so I hope that the end of their relationship is less dramatic, though it'll probably be super drama. And
that's really what I wanted to talk about, the drama. This show has been giving so much done so much great work with relationships so far, and I really don't want them to fall into the trap of having an aggressive triangle at the end. I don't want that. I want it to end in a similar way to the Jackie-Marco relationship. I want Star to just be honest with Tom and say, I don't think this is working.
And I think what would be the best way to sort of end the Tom arc too is for him to just openly accept that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like before in the first season, you know, in Blood Moon Ball, he's like crazy. You know, he's angry. He has to be put on ice. But I think that the really like the best way to close him out would be for him to just, you know, for Star to openly say, you know, hey, like this isn't working out. You know, I kissed Marco.
Yeah, I think it's important for her to mention Marco and not,
exactly.
and for Tom not to get mad about it.
Yes, and for him to, and exactly, that's it. For him to just be like, you know, Star, all I wanted for you was to be happy, or you know, something along those lines. It doesn't necessarily have to be those words, but something to allude to that. And I think that would be the perfect way to sort of end Tom and Star's relationship, and to end the Tom arc at that.
I also think it might be important for Star to express that Tom is a friend, just not the type of friend Marco is. Like, maybe express that, yeah, Tom, I do like hanging with you. You're my friend. I'm really glad that you're getting better, but this isn't against you. It's just, I really have feelings for someone else. I don't think it's her job to do it, but I think she has some responsibility because she is in a relationship with this guy and she needs to give some amount of reason to him so that she's just not like making him backslide. You know what I mean? Because there's clearly not bad blood between them.
And I think it would be good character growth for Star too, if she was, you know, that open and honest about it.
Yeah.
So we can only hope.
we can only hope, and I really do want Tom to not regress from the breakup. I don't want him to like burst into flames and.
Yeah, I really don't want that for him either. I think that would be in poor taste for the writers and for the show for him to regress so. Like suddenly, but because I mean he has shown improvement, so and I want that for him.
I think the crazy thing is I'm trying to think back. I think the happiest moments for Tom have been not Star related, like him with the pie. Like it's shown that he's like I'm not joking. I know it's funny, but it's not really. I'm not really joking. Like he's shown to be really actually happy about things, which I don't think we've seen really before this, and it hasn't been related to other people. It hasn't been related to, like, Star specifically. It's just been, he's starting to see other things in the world as things he can be happy about, and that's great. And I think that's great.
I think that's great, too. So.
Yeah.
But also, dang it, Tom, why didn't, like, you did this to yourself.
He did, and I think that's important for Star to maybe not say it's his fault, but say like, I think we're looking for different things in this relationship. I think she needs to say to him. I think that's the line we kind of need to wait for here because they are looking for different things in a relationship, and that's fine. That happens with people who are together and who are honestly friends. They just are looking for different things from a relationship. And before we end this discussion, because we still haven't gotten to the last, like, 5 frames of the episode, which are still big, because the photo booth...
a picture.
Yeah. The photo booth produces the picture of them kissing, because we kind of skipped over, but the photo booth did make that picture. Mm-hmm. And as Star gets a call from Ponyhead where something's wrong with her, which we'll get to in a second, she runs off with Tom to go help Ponyhead and reaches back and grabs the pictures from the photo booth of her kissing Marco. And followed quickly by, it's a blinkety-missy thing.
It is, like, I literally had to, like, stop.
Yes.
Like, go back, stop, back, like, frame by frame.
Yeah, I did that too, and I saw, like, the picture on Tumblr or something, and I thought, oh, that's a cool Photoshop. And they're like, no, it's in the episode. I'm like, really? And I go back and I like click through. I'm like, oh yeah, it is. Wow.
I had to go back too because I thought it was fake as well. And I was like, that's not real. Like, someone put that there. So I know how this works.
We haven't mentioned what it is. Let's, when she grabs the picture, Star's and Marco's cheeks glow. Star's glow with the hearts and Marco's glow with moons. And this, from what we've seen, everything we've seen in the show, this means that he's of royal blood.
Yes.
Right? So,
or he's got some type of magical capacity. Because...
yeah.
Yeah.
We can talk about this. I think this stuff with his markings on his cheeks relates to the Meteora stuff in the other episode, so we can kind of talk about it there. But it's interesting that they light up when Star grabs it.
Mm-hmm. Because they're not in the picture before that.
No.
Because I checked too. Because I was like, well, were they always in there?
No.
But they're not.
So that's interesting. And then we pull back and we see the booth and the blood moon, of course.
Of course. And also, what is it? The blood moon ball music that sort of waltz or whatever is also playing during that time.
Again, the music was great this episode. The music when they're talking about their feelings in the booth is just maybe my favorite of these two episodes. It's so good.
Agreed. Yeah. This episode was so well done. Both of these episodes were very well done.
Yeah, it's kind of impressive that we have a Ponyhead episode here, and I just really don't care about it because...
Get out of here, I love Ponyhead.
I love Ponyhead, but apparently if you pair a Ponyhead episode with a Starco kiss, I don't care about it.
Look, this was a really good episode. Like, Skooled... Okay, so wait, are we done talking about Starco for now, or...
We can wrap up a little Starco later, but I think we can move on. We're getting late. We did talk for what looks to be 40 minutes about Starco, so we should probably talk.
I have 40 minutes.
We can transition to something else before we wrap up with Starco again. So, do you want to talk about Skooled? What did you think of this episode overall?
Overall, I really enjoyed this episode. Like, I like Ponyhead, and I kind of had like a strange prediction or a feeling. I was like, man, we're gonna see Meteora in this episode. I just know it. And then when she showed up, she was boss. Like,
she was so extra when she like did the flip through the air and like superhero landed.
I was about it though. Like, I was not upset. Also, we learned that Princess Arm's name is Patty.
Yes.
Which I thought was interesting. But no, like, I thought this episode was great. Like, again, the music was, like, on point.
Yeah.
And, we learned more about, like, the Meteora, like, backstory and everything like that. And then for her to be like, she's like, the Muni throne should be mine. Like, and so she's like, I'm gonna go get it. And we got to see Rastakor. He's alive. He was alive.
Yeah. He had a metal arm.
He did have a metal arm. So whenever he regenerates, does his metal arm grow back that way, or?
Did he have a metal arm originally? Like, the very first time he showed up?
I can't remember, honestly. I'm gonna have to like go back and look, but
he's Rastakor. It's whatever. He's not really. He's more a gag than a character.
Right. Oh, speaking of gags, I really liked that the Saint Olga was a robot, and
yes.
And then whenever they override her, she just has a mouse inside.
Yes, that was a really funny gag. I really liked that.
It was like an old school like wired mouse too. Yeah, like it wasn't wireless.
What do you mean old school? I have a wired mouse. What are you talking about?
No, all of my mice are wireless.
Like,
so.
my laptop one's wireless, but my one for my desktop's completely wired.
No, wireless.
This is not the discussion we're having here, but
no.
I disagree with you.
But it's fine. We can fight about it later. I don't like to be tied down. Look. But no, it was a great episode. Like, I really enjoyed it, and it didn't push it, like, moved the plot forward. Cause we haven't seen, like, Miss Heinous / Meteora in a few episodes, and so it was kind of, at least I personally have been like, what has she been doing? Like, what is she up to? Where is she going? So it was just my own personal, like, thought that she might end up back at St. O's. And I thought she would just take St. O's over again, but she wants the crown, so go for it.
Go for it,
argument. Yeah. She's got a good argument, though she probably shouldn't have destroyed the St. O's robot.
Yeah, because that has the evidence.
Yeah. So you're making your case a little hard there, Meteora.
Yeah. I liked this episode. I didn't like before, because it came before Booth Buddies, which is good, because if it came after Booth Buddies, I'd just be watching it like in a haze. I'd just be like, wait, the show's still on. But, I think good might be a stretch. I think it's okay. I think that it's really awesome parts. I think the Meteora parts are really great. They push the plot forward. I think the Ponyhead parts are a little weak, which is too bad, because Ponyhead I love Ponyhead to death. She is the best. But her parts are a little weak in that she's not talking during most of her parts. And that's when Ponyhead's great.
Is when she's talking. But when she did talk, she had
she had some good lines.
She had some really good moments. So like going through the 4 pillars of brunch or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I thought it was really interesting how the Rat Princess was just like, look, like, if you don't like the way we do things here, then leave.
Yeah. And then there's she's after you, isn't everybody? And
right.
Ponyhead, I mean, she's not wrong. Let's be honest. She's not wrong.
Right. She's not. But
yeah.
And then what was it? She had that moment, whenever she's eating brunch, she's just like, I'm having brunch according to your 4 pillars before I die.
Yeah. That is great. That's me. Just like, I'm gonna die. Okay, I'm just gonna eat everything. See ya.
I'm gonna eat this food.
Yeah. There's nothing else I can do. Might as well just eat. So let's get into this episode, because there's not a lot at the beginning, but there's some plot stuff to talk about with Meteora finding out about her being the rightful heir to Muni. So Ponyhead shows up at the school, apparently there to have brunches and parties with the other princesses, and Patty, Arm Princess, tells her that she needs to pass a test to get through brunch, and we talked about the funny interaction there with Ponyhead not being able to remember the 4 pillars of brunch, and she had a moment
eggs,
where
bacon and more bacon.
More bacon, yeah. Like, these are important. How could you forget them? But I do have issue with them not mentioning that syrup is part of that, because, come on, guys.
Yeah, you have to have waffles with syrup, and also, syrup on bacon is amazing. I don't know if you've ever had it before.
I have not.
You should try it. It'll change your life.
I believe you. I believe you that it would taste good. I just have never I've never combined it yet. It hasn't come up in my life.
Oh. Well, the next time you're brunching, just think of Ponyhead.
They're not really talking about brunch food. They're talking about breakfast food. They're like, brunch is like such like a misnomer, because it's really just breakfast at lunchtime.
That's true. What really makes brunch is mimosas. And I was waiting for them to be like, and orange juice. And I was like, yeah, orange juice.
I mean, we had a cold one next episode.
Yeah, that's right. Why couldn't we have mimosas this time? We're talking about brunch, guys.
Yeah. Oh, man. We're recording this at brunch time, or we started at brunch time.
That's right. We are. So did you not bring your mimosa? Wait, hold on. No.
Starco's kind of a mimosa, isn't it? A Starco kiss.
There you go. Yes, that is our mimosa.
Yeah.
Well, we totally got off topic.
I mean, are we off topic? The beginning is like nothing. Let's be honest. There's like no plot here. It's just Ponyhead being Ponyhead, which is great.
I like that she just shows up at St. O's whenever she wants. She's just like, I'm tired of my family. I'm gonna go hang out with my friends at St. O's. Like, what? Remember when you got dragged to this place?
Oh man, yeah. It's very different than the first time we saw this place. But, this is followed immediately by Ponyhead trying to leave, and, we skipped over one thing. We skipped over, when she's in the office with Patty, and she's like, you know those things are murder robots, right? And they're like wearing like a heart.
Foreshadowing. I didn't even think about that. Also, that's really fun that they just rip their hearts out and then they're bombs. Like, what?
Yeah, no, and that murder robot's wearing like a heart apron. It's so good. It's such good foreshadowing. I love it.
It was, yeah. I didn't even catch it. Gosh darn it. Like,
This is why I write. This is why we do outlines and we talk about stuff ahead of time.
This is why I write things down when I'm paying.
But you miss stuff.
I know. Okay, so
it's the mimosas. It's fine.
It's mimosa. Yeah, my imaginary water mimosa.
Yeah. But
okay.
Yeah. So
Tina shows up. She's looking a little bit more monsterish. So I dig the new look. Yeah, I like her character design now. Like, I don't know what it was, but whenever she was just Miss Heinous, I was not okay with her. But like, as Meteora, like Monster Meteora, I'm into it, so.
Like Heinous had the same issue as Moon kinda did before Moon was, I'm sorry to say that about Moon. Where she just didn't look very athletic. She didn't look like she was a threat in any way. And then we saw Moon fight, Toffee in that one episode, and we're like, oh, Moon is the bomb. Okay.
Moon is queen. Got it.
Yeah. And now we see that Meteora is not a slouch either, just in a very physical way compared to the magic way that, Moon is a boss.
Yes.
And I really liked this. I really liked this a lot. And I think it also draws another line between the monsters and the Mewmans, in that the monsters are a lot more physical, a lot more strong than the Mewmans are.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Like, she just seemed to be getting more powerful as the episode kind of went on. And I was like, where is she getting her strength from? Because if you remember, she, like, previously she was like sucking the youth out of people, like. So now I guess that's not a thing, because she's just like, it's like she's unlocked her monster ability or something. And also, why did she never like notice she had a tail before? Like, she just forgot about it? What happened?
I think that was shown when she talked to her Saint Olga, the robot. It showed that she was brainwashed.
Oh, yeah. So maybe she just was brainwashed and told she didn't have a tail.
I think she was brainwashed into just... Yeah, she was brainwashed into thinking she wasn't a monster, is what I gathered.
That makes sense, I guess. I mean, because we knew they were brainwashing people, but do they harness the technology to make it, like, specific? Like, you don't have a tail, you don't have cheek marks. Like...
I believe it was possible, but also, let's be honest, like, there's also the possibility that Heinous literally did not shower for years, because this is Muni, and she just never took off her dress, and they like, hid her tail somewhere. You know what I mean?
They just hid it.
Yeah, she's like, you don't have a tail.
They taped it to her back.
Yeah, like, you don't have a tail. Shh. And it's like... and she just stayed in that dress for years. Like, that's completely something they do in Muni.
I believe it. You know what? I buy that.
Yeah.
But I do want to know, like, what happened? Like, how did she just not notice it? Like,
yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't.
Also, Tiny Meteora is adorable.
Oh my god.
She's like, look, mommy, my cheeks are glowing. And I was like, oh, you poor sweet angel.
And this also leads into, again, what the Tom and Marco and Star's cheeks glowing later, which is interesting. It's interesting that these episodes parallel that the show, because it brings this up for a reason. They could have showed any memories to us, but they specifically show us, again, Heinous' cheeks glowing.
They show us the tail, the cheeks glowing. The tail we already, like, I guess, discovered.
Yes.
But I guess that it's the explanation as to why we've never seen it until now. And then we see the cheek marks again.
But we don't really get more explanation than we already have. So clearly, I think this is supposed to be a hook for us to remember about the cheeks glowing before we see Star and Marco's cheeks glowing again. I think it's specifically for that. Like,
I didn't even think about that they purposely did that so that we would hopefully notice. But that moment at the end of Booth Buddies is so small.
It's so small, but it must be for that, though. Why else bring up? Because they could have shown any moment. They could have just shown. It didn't even have to show them glowing. They could have just shown her acknowledging that she couldn't get the makeup off her cheeks. But they specifically talk about her cheeks glowing, and they don't have any real resolution to that other than saying you shouldn't have them glow, which we knew already. We knew that they could glow, and we knew that I'm just saying, it takes time to animate things, and you have to choose what you animate.
Yeah, like you do what you do very specifically.
Yes.
It's very rare that you do something, and because especially if you know that your show's gonna go on for a while, it's just it just makes me like question, because Marco's cheeks didn't. So most of the cheek glowing moments come from like moments of like magical power.
Yes.
So what was it necessarily that Meteora was doing to where her cheeks were glowing? But also, they also sort of expressed that like your magical power, especially with like the butterfly family, it comes from the wand until you're able to, like, use it out. Yeah, until you're able to harness it and use it outside of that, which is why, like, Moon still can do magic, but she doesn't have the wand, and why Eclipsa says, you know, oh, well, I never, like, learned how to do magic without a wand. So, which would also, I mean, assuming she's not faking us out, but that would explain why she hasn't just used magic to sort of get herself away out of the situation. So, is Meteora so powerful and that she doesn't need a wand in order to start to use her magic? You know what I mean? Like, it brings up a lot.
I think it might have something to do with the monster part of her, like, we just don't know about yet, because I don't think we got the answer. I'm not saying that this was, the payoff was the thing we saw in Booth Buddies. I'm saying they're reminding us of this for a reason, and we should watch out for this in the finale. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. I'll store it in the back of my brain.
Yeah, no, 'cause I think it's important. I think we've been getting a lot of hints about this the last season, and I think we're gonna get an explanation for these markings soon, for what's really going on with Marco or what's going on with Meteora's power, because one of those two has to be explained, because we're getting a lot of emphasis on it.
Or they'll both be explained.
Or they'll both be explained. I'd be happy with that. But they might not explain any more of Meteora's power, because I mean, like, they don't explain the details of magic very often. This is a very soft fantasy world where there's no real rules to the magic going on. It's just magic. So
that it can get on the fritz every once in a while.
Yeah, but that's, So,
the other interesting thing too is that Star doesn't know that Marco has the cheek marks and can do magic.
When was the other time his cheeks glowed? I forget, because I know that this is the second time or third time.
This is the second time. The first time was whenever he had Star's wand and he used it to try and pull her, because she went into her own, I guess, dimension with her own magic.
She turned into the shining star. Mm-hmm. She turned into the butterfly
and
version.
He used it to the seeing eye spell. Yeah. And so that was the first time, and I highly doubt Star remembers that.
No.
Or knows, because she kind of seemed like she wasn't herself in that moment. So
here's the tough question. Does this mean Star and Marco are related?
No, I don't think so. I think it's something just like with magical properties, which again is funny because at the very, very beginning of the show, they were like, we're sending you to this non-magic planet of Earth, like, enjoy.
So, do you think this could just be related to the blood moon? Because, I mean, there are moons on his cheeks.
It could be the blood moon, but he also, remember, he had a monster arm, so...
He did. But, I mean, that was star-induced.
That's true. I hope they're not related. That would be awkward.
Yeah. And I don't think there's any way... Like, I'm just trying to figure it out, because there's no real way that he's related to Meteora, because Meteora doesn't have kids.
Right.
And the only other way to have cheek marks is to be related to the butterfly family, and I really hope that's not the case, for many reasons. So, the only thing that leaves me with is two things. Either it's the blood moon marked him this way, or anybody that uses the wand ends up getting marks if they use the wand for something like this.
Oh. But then how did Meteora get hers?
Well, because she was just related to royalty. I think you get it for being royal blood, or you get these like hidden marks if you use the wand.
That makes me wonder. This is my massive knowledge about the show, but remember in the Lobster Claws episode? Because Lobster Claws had the wand. So I wonder if he got cheek marks.
How much did he use the wand? I forget how much he used it.
He had it for a pretty good time. Now I want to go find that episode and see if he had cheek marks. Like glowing cheek marks.
But this was also like an evil spell. Like a spell they're not supposed to use that he used. He used the seeing eye spell. And when Starry used it, her cheek marks glowed too.
But her cheek marks have glowed for other reasons.
Yes, but I'm just saying that this spell seems to be one that's of high power, and maybe that's just all it was, that Lobster Claws didn't use a spell that required more power than others, and And that's just why his cheeks glowed, Marco, when he used the seeing eye. That he hit a threshold, essentially, where it's like, oh, we need to draw on your strength now, too.
I don't know, but I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna watch it and report back to you.
Lobster Claw's mark is like, isn't there a crab, what's the crab?
The crab.
The constellation.
Oh.
Cancer.
Cancer.
Yeah, he just has the cancer on his cheeks now.
Oh.
Obviously.
That makes sense.
He just has crabs on his cheeks.
A lobster with crabs on his cheeks.
Obviously. This is it.
Oh gosh. Okay. Whew.
The mimosas are getting to us.
Yeah. The quote unquote mimosas.
yeah, totally.
Okay, so
yeah, no, then we got off track here. But anyways.
Good discussion though, I liked it.
I liked it too. But so anyways, Meteora appears at the school, and she fights her way through. She takes control of the robots again. The princesses try to stop her, but kind of fail. All the robots have like these explosive hearts inside them, which is really funny and really weird, which is Star in a nutshell. And they blow themselves up, and they try to blow up Meteora. It fails, and they lock themselves in the castle using a year's worth of pizza, which is clearly impossible to get through. Okay, a year's worth of pizza is a lot of pizza.
I don't eat pizza. I wouldn't know. But I believe you.
I don't really eat pizza. I used to eat pizza a fair bit, but I don't anymore. That doesn't matter. I don't eat much anymore. But that did not look like a year's worth to me. That looked like a big party's worth of pizza.
You know what? They are princesses, and they don't eat as much as normal human beings.
Did you see brunch?
Brunch is different. Look, you burn those calories.
Brunch sits in your stomach different than pizza is what you're saying.
Exactly. Yes.
The mimosa helps everything catalyze and
less carbs.
Works its way out.
More meat, more protein to burn.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Oh,
but
boy.
then, let's see, Rastakor uses the chainsaw to get his way in.
Yeah.
So, Rastakor's back.
Yeah.
Temporarily.
And they try to stop them by using pillows, and it's a very, well shot, a really great shot where they go off screen and the pillow feathers are like blood, essentially. It's really great.
Yes.
And there's screams.
Also, what is it? So, this is skipping ahead, but whenever the Sano robot is just it was a lot to care for you. The other robot moms
laughed behind my back.
Laughed at me. And then she's like, you should thank me. And I was like, wow, guilt tripping robot mom.
Yeah, no, robot mom is worst mom, let's be honest.
Robot mom, worst mom. Olga is the worst.
Yeah. But before we get to this memory stuff, which we've pretty much talked all about already,
I think we covered it.
We did. Patty gets thrown into a room with Ponyhead where she's eating brunch.
Mm-hmm.
And Patty says, "I thought you were dead." No, I'm just eating brunch before I die.
It's too good.
Ponyhead's too good. And then Ponyhead sincerely believes that Heinous is after her.
Yes.
And powers up her horn and gets ready to fight, and Meteora just ignores her to go talk to the robot mom and get the memories.
And then did the princesses, because we've already kind of talked about the Meteora memories, also King, what's his face, Shastakan, he is a monster.
Yeah.
So I don't blame Eclipsa for leaving him at all.
I do like what one moment we didn't mention in the memories though was it starts with Saint Olga saying, "I found you when you were a street baby." It's
yes.
Is that just a thing? Is that just a thing? That's a term, a street baby?
You're a street baby. Also, it should be pointed out that the story of Eclipse, Meteora, according to the High Commission, is that they just swapped her out.
Yes.
So, but then it seems like King Shastakan very much was take this baby away from me.
See,
so those are not the same.
Here's the problem I have with all these swap stories, and I feel like there's an easy way to solve this. why don't they ever swap the baby and then give it the name of the baby they swapped it with? Why'd they give the new baby a different name?
Yeah, I don't know. They were
Like,
like, let's just leave the baby's name the same. Like,
yeah, it makes no sense. Like, logically, you should swap Meteora out and name the new baby Meteora. Because that way, no, they're babies. Like, anyone who can tell the difference between two, like, relatively skin-tone similar babies is, like, lying, because you just can't. They're just babies. If you haven't gotten, like, a long time to look at one, it's just a flabby thing.
it's just a tiny human.
Yeah, there's no real... And, like, I understand that, like, once you have a baby for a long time, like, you can tell your baby from other ones. But I'm saying, like, the common folk wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
Right. No. Especially, like, a royal baby, you probably don't see it that much.
Yeah,
like...
It was probably shown from, like a balcony high above the crowds and then taken away back into the castle. Like, that's probably, like Lion King style, raised above the
Lion
head.
King style. Michael Jackson style. Hanging over the balcony.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Yeah, no. The Moses are getting to us. There we go. And also, the king calls the baby absolutely heinous.
And then that's how she gets her name. Ha!
Like, that's like finger guns right there.
Pew pew! Like, slightly touch your knee, not even slapping it.
Yeah. And, but the big reveal here is that Meteora is confirmed she is the rightful heir to Muni. She should be queen, or she should have been queen. Which is big in some ways, and also others, like, we already kind of knew this, we kind of assumed this is where the story was going.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it seems lately that the show's been doing a lot of, like, you already know this, but we're gonna confirm it for you.
Yeah, but that's good. Like, I'd rather things are, because, like, one of the problems with some of the shows we cover is that they never confirm anything, and it's just, we talk about things, and we're just like, well, we assume this is true, but it's not necessarily. The big poster child for this is RWBY, where we think things are true, but we don't actually have any confirmation in any way. And this is, I really like that this is confirmed. That we are confirming, yes, Meteora, all the stuff you're assuming is true. We can move forward with the plot now.
Well, it's confirmed for her, too.
Yes.
Because, I guess that's the biggest thing, is that she now knows for sure that she's the rightful heir.
And like I said, this does give us a chance to see Meteora more monstrous, like we see this whole episode. And it gives a chance to like I said, to mention the marks on her cheeks, which I do think that's on purpose. I do think we're going to talk
They're
more
going to
about
come into play later.
in some way. Yeah, because we're touching on them multiple times here. And it was a very extended scene with no real resolution.
Yeah. It was a memory.
Yeah. So we'll see where that goes, but this afterwards, like you said, St. Olga says, you should thank me, and Meteora does thank her before destroying her, and all the princesses show up.
Yep. And Ponyhead is prepared to fight, and she loses her horn.
Like, that was... Like, see, I was just kind of, like, riding this episode, like, yeah, this is pretty fun, and then Ponyhead's horn's gone, I'm like, oh my god.
I know, I freaked out. I was like, what? Like, because I was like, what is she holding in her hand? And I was like,
I saw it glowing.
No.
I saw it glowing, and I was just like, that looks like her horn. That can't be the horn. And then it stopped glowing. I'm like, oh my god, it is.
What does this mean? Like,
oh my god.
Also, why she should have kept that and used it for something.
This isn't okay, April. This isn't Game of Thrones. She's not gonna like stab somebody with the horn. That's not how this works.
I will stab you with your best friend's horn. Ha!
Yeah, like if this was Game of Thrones, that would 100% happen. But this is not.
Or like D&D. This is like a really good D&D campaign right here.
No, that's 100% a D&D
Can
type
I keep
move.
the horn?
It doesn't have good stats, but I want it. It's like, okay.
It's literally just a broken pony head horn. I don't care. I want
Is it magical? I mean, it was.
Sounds like all of my campaigns.
Yeah, all of them.
Okay, and then can we talk about Rastakor trying to break up with Heinous? Because first off, I didn't know they were in a relationship, but second, I don't know, but he's just like, he's like, yeah, I really appreciate you taking care of me, but my favorite line is he calls her heinous, and she goes, it's Meteora, and he goes, I don't even know your name, I'm such a jerk. Like,
yeah.
that was too good. That whole thing. Like, he gave every single line that I think I've ever heard. Not personally, but like in movies and TV shows, all of that. So, and then he gets blown up again.
Yep. It's good. And her assistant's dead now. Like,
yeah. He also had a really great line. If you had wanted my heart, I would have given it to you.
And she just takes it.
See, it's like those moments that made this episode like super great. That's why both of these episodes are wonderful.
I think I'm just a little. I really just don't think the beginning of this episode's that strong. I really don't think it is, and that's my hang up here.
It gets going like once it picks up. So
the second half is really solid, but the first half I think is pretty weak. So I think it just leads to a good episode, not a great one. But Booth Buddies is just really good all the way through. Because I love the character stuff, and this is just a character-driven episode, the second one.
What I liked about, I guess, both of these episodes is that they both, like, move the plot forward in their own ways. Like, I guess if you think about it, we kind of have two plots happening at once. We have the Starko plot, and then we have the whole, like, monster, Mumin, like, heinous sort of plot going on as well. And so I really like that each of these episodes moves that forward and keeps us going, because the last two, I didn't really feel like they did a whole lot, like, you know, besides sort of solidifying other things that we already kind of knew and felt. So I think these two episodes are much appreciated, especially after last week, because I was not super hyped for last week's episodes, but these ones, I'm going to watch them over and over again until next week. So
I can't even remember what last week's episodes were. I forget now.
Hold on, I've got my notes.
They were the ones with. I even did a panel on them, and they're just. Just blanking.
I was gonna say, weren't you on the panel?
I know, but I deleted my notes for those.
Oh, it was the one where Buff Frog leaves,
right,
and Marco Jr.
Marco Jr. and Buff Frog.
See, look, those episodes didn't stand out in any way.
They didn't. And I liked them at the time, but these are just so much better. These ones are just much better episodes. I do agree that the Ponyhead episode's better than either of those, but I think that it just barely is better than them, because the first half really was very weak, in my opinion.
I mean, I wouldn't say the first half. I would say the first part was weak, but I think that it's way better than the other ones, especially with the ending. The ending, I think, makes up a lot for the other, like the first part of it.
I think the ending is really solid. All the stuff with Meteor. It's also interesting. I don't think we touched on this, but that this episode doesn't have any Star or Marco in it, which is different.
And it's a successful episode.
It is.
For one that doesn't have Star or Marco, because usually episodes that don't have them fall really flat, at least for me. Like, I'm just not as interested. The show, you know, Dylan, you know, will say this a lot, but the show is Star versus the forces of evil, and without Star, like, what is the point of the episode? And so sometimes I feel that same way, but this one, I think it's better without Star.
I think it is.
Marco in it, so
I agree, and I think that's because these two episodes really feel like a combined episode. Because we get in the Booth Buddies, we get as much Star and Marco as we would get in two episodes combined, but it's all pushed into one episode instead of the other one.
Yeah, and there's elements that sort of that ties them both together. Like at the beginning of the wedding, they're like, "It's a shame Ponyhead never showed up," and then like Ponyhead is calling her, or someone is calling her at the end, and she's like, "Pony's in trouble, we have to go," and she just leaves. Like,
it feels like this is a. Are we getting? Is next week 2 episodes, or is it the finale?
It's 2 episodes.
Okay, so this. I'm going to be really interested in what those 2 episodes are. I haven't looked at any of the titles. I just don't do that. I don't look at the titles. I'm interested to
I was going to say, I have the title names.
I don't mind hearing them. I just don't look at them. I don't look them up. What are they? Do you have them?
Yeah, give me just a second. Let's see. The first one is, I'm not going to be able to pronounce this. I think it's
do it.
Patty.
Like Patty, like
P-A-T-I.
Oh, is
No.
that Arm Princess? Is Patty Arm Princess? Is that how you
I
spell
don't
it?
know, because it's like Bam, B-A-M, and then it's it's U-I,
Yeah.
Patty, with an
Okay.
exclamation point. It got an exclamation, it got a punctuation. And then the next one after that is Tough Love.
Huh.
So,
Huh.
Tough Love predictions?
I mean, do we really need to predict? I think we both know where our mind's going with that. I think Tough Love is gonna be the, well, what do you think it is first? I'll ask you first. What do you think Tough Love is gonna be?
Ooh. Ideally, it would be Tom and Star breaking up.
Yes, that's exactly where my head jumped to.
But I also feel like it might be something terrible, like, where Star and Marco are like, we can't do this, like, kind of thing, and that would be the worst.
Yeah. I think either way it's gonna be about Starco to some extent. It's gonna be about, it's gonna be the undercurrent of that episode. Or it's just gonna be not related to them at all.
Or, yeah, my other guess would be like Meteor and Eclipsa, so.
I don't know. It doesn't feel right because the next episodes. I know the finale is called Divide and Conquer. And
is it really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
The two episodes, like the first episode is Divide, the second one is Conquer.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Are you okay? Did I blow your mind?
Yeah, you kind of did.
Are you? The mimosas are making.
Yeah.
Mimosas.
All I've had today is water.
You should eat something. Or just drink mimosas. That's clearly
after this.
Yeah, some paleo.
I'll brunch in honor of Ponyhead.
Some paleo mimosas.
Paleo. Oh no, can't have juice.
That's what I thought.
But okay. Oh, my mind is just going crazy now.
Trying to figure out how to have a mimosa.
No, I'm just trying. No, not even about that. I'm thinking about Divide and Conquer. Like, I'm skipping over like the next week's episodes and going straight into the finale. So,
before I lose you, April, because it feels like I'm losing you here. Let's talk about predictions, okay? Before we get any further, since we're already kind of there. Do you think that do you think Tom is going to break up with Star next week? Do you think that's going to happen?
No, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Okay. So
that would be too easy.
Do you think it'll happen in the finale?
No.
Okay, you think it just won't happen this season?
I just think it won't happen this season. I think it'll happen, if it's gonna happen, it'll be next season. Just because, like I said earlier, it took us a whole season for, Marco and Star to finally talk about the fact that Star has a crush on him. And that was like, before the Battle of Muni, so...
I'm definitely of the opinion that I think they're going to break up this season. I don't know if they're going to start the relationship really this season in the finale, but I think knowing that Tough Love is one of the episodes, I think that's where Star's going to break up with Tom. And with any other show, I wouldn't think they'd get together, but this show I feel can have them get together and it not feel like a ending. I really feel like they'll show that this is a process, and I'm really looking forward to that.
That would be nice. I just given like the nature of Skooled and the fact that even though Booth Buddies was very much like a Starco episode, and they're kind of, the show kind of has this tendency to where it, it will do certain things.
It struggles to show multiple things at the same time.
Yes, exactly. That's it. Like, it struggles to show two things going on at the same time. And the fact that these two episodes ended up being tied together means that whatever took place in Booth Buddies, while it's super important and we're all still freaking out about it, it's gonna get overlooked because we have Meteora now on the loose. She's coming for the crown. And the fact that the ending of Booth Buddies was Star saying, Ponyhead's in trouble, we have to go. It's almost exactly like Star Crushed, where, Star and Marco sort of figure out like, haha, that's weird, song day, what is it? And then Moon's like, we have to go, Toffee's back, and Star's like, oh crap, you know, we need to leave now. And so she goes, says she has a crush on Marco, and then leaves, like.
But clearly the difference here is that this is not the finale. That's a big difference. That's not just like a semantics thing. It's like when you're structuring a season, that's a different way to do something.
It is, but I think that the next episodes are going to be focused more so on the monster, Mumin, Eclipsa, like Meteora thing, just because I feel like those four things, well, I mean, two of them do go together, but that all sort of goes together now.
I think it does fit in because Star is trying to fight for the monsters. That's her thing. Tom is half monster, and Marco's just going to be there because it's Marco. He's going to be there for Star.
He's her squire.
Yeah. And so I think these things don't hook in like cleanly, but I think they do hook into the story to some amount. And I do think that we're going to see some discussion of it before we get to the finale.
I think we'll get hints of it.
Okay.
I don't, like, and when I say hints of it, I mean, like, what is it? The first episode of Battle for Immunity, where, like, Star's using the Seeing Eye spell to spy on Marco as he eats the cereal, and she's like, you beautiful idiot. Like,
yeah.
It's like another, like, it's that hint of, like, Starco. You know what I mean? Like, it's sprinkled in there ever so lightly. I think that's what we're going to get, because I feel like the whole Meteora thing is going to take precedence over it, just because of the way that they ended it. Like, I don't know. I don't see it happening any other way.
I'm worried that we're gonna, I agree with you now that I'm thinking about it, that I'm worried that it won't continue past Tough Love, whatever we see. That Divide and Conquer will just focus on the quote-unquote plot.
I think Divide and Conquer is gonna, for sure, focus on the plot. I couldn't even tell you if Tough Love is, just because sometimes the way that this show names things, like...
It could be a random side character we never see again that in love with somebody. Like, that's easily what it could be. He could be Buff Frog trying to get back together with his wife. Like, that could be it.
And then he sees Meteora destroying things, and he's like, I have to go tell Star.
Yeah, like, that could easily be what's going on here. Or it could be Ludo falling in love with somebody.
Oh my gosh, Ludo. I hope he never comes back.
You know that's not happening. I'm not even gonna...
know.
He's in the opening still. I can't believe it.
I know. Do you think they'll change the opening?
For what, the finale?
Yeah, afterwards.
Oh, you mean like next season?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It depends. It could get dated if Tom, like, leaves the picture, but it doesn't feel like the end of the season is going to be a big status quo change. Not that I'm not excited for it. It feels like this is more character changing, which I'm excited for, but I don't feel like we're going to get a big status quo change, though.
That's fair.
So I think the opening could fit still. It's interesting that Kelly has shown up as a side character in multiple episodes. I like seeing her a lot. But,
Kelly.
Yeah, Kelly's great. But, anyways, so, did you have anything else you wanted to say before we wrap this up?
No, just that these episodes were incredible, and I know we feel ways about Skooled, but I think the combination of these two is just super nice. Still freaking out about Starco, it's fine. I'm ready to discuss it in public now.
You're ready to wear this, like, as a badge of honor, like, yes. I was right.
You guys, did you see the Starco kiss? Oh,
I saw it live.
Oh, you did? I'm so upset. That's fine. But yeah, no, these episodes were great, and I'm very much looking forward to going into the finale, even though I don't think it's going to be Starco. Yeah,
totally. So with that said, you can find everything about this podcast at overlyanimated.com. You can join us on Discord or text chat about anything animation at overlyanimated.com/Discord. It's really fun there. We've been talking about a lot of shows, including Starverse there. And you can support us at Patreon at patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thanks to all of our current patrons, especially our patron of the podcast, Katrin, aka Patron Katrin. Speaking of which, she's trying to get together a Isle of Dogs podcast. I'm not sure when that's coming out. I think that's next weekend now.
Next weekend.
Yeah, are you on that?
I might be. I haven't decided yet.
Okay. Also, if you like our Star coverage, you should really check out our panels. They've been a lot of fun. I don't know if we're going to have a panel this week because Dylan is so excited to talk about Starco. I think he just wants to do another recap episode just to talk about more Starco. So look out for that later in the week. It might still be a panel. I might be wrong. This could be dated when you look back at it, but I know we're going to have another Star podcast this week, so just watch out for that. Also, I'd like to thank our executive producers, John, Ryan, Steve, and Alex and Hugh.
Woo!
And I don't think there's anything else coming up big. Well, we have Final Space that still shows. I don't know if that really caters to this audience that we're talking to here. Ladybug is kind of in and out.
Ladybug's touchy.
Touchy, but I think it matches with the listeners of this kind of listeners. If they're listening to this show, they'll like Ladybug. Yeah. I guess that's it for now, guys. Thanks for sticking it out. We talked a lot about Starco for like 40 plus minutes and then talked about a little more at the end. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.